podcast joint with Ciara.
Yo, what's the deal? This is T-Money, and you are now watching the T-Money podcast joint featuring Ciara Ross.
Ow.
Yo, what's the deal, yo? How y'all doing today, man? Yo, listen, I am donning the hat of my man, Elder Sensei, and the Artifacts. Thank you, El. And salute to the Artifacts, Jersey's own. Mad respect. Thank you for all the paraphernalia. And if you want to go get his paraphernalia, go check out his site and check out his IG, Artifacts, my man, Elder Sensei.
I missed the sticker.
He has a great Artifacts, and he's a true hip hop artist, yo. But so today, we have one of my favorite rap groups of all time. Ooh. One of my favorite rap groups of all time, man.
I hear they're pretty dope.
You know, if you can't say it all, just say Stet. We got Stetsasonic in the house, baby. Stetsasonic in the house. Sitting in the place, we got my man Bobby Simmons to my left.
Peace.
The light to my far left. And on the Zoom behind me, we got my man Wise and the great Daddy-O in the building. What's up, guys? How y'all doing today?
Peace.
No doubt, man. How y'all doing, man? What's going on? Talk to me, man. What's happening?
We're doing fine, man. We really appreciate being here.
Man, I appreciate having you guys here, man. Listen to me, man. Stetsasonic has always been a group that I admired, you know, because of your diversity. You know, the first hip hop band. You know, you could only
say that again.
The first hip hop band,
all right,
bro.
It's a documented fact.
I understand.
Yeah.
And real talk, man. It's because, like, you know, you guys are so deep, man. And it's not just about the fact that you're a band. I mean, you took hip hop to a different place, which opened the door for other people like the Roots and other people, Junkyard Band and everybody else. But we'll talk about that another time. But let's start real quick, because I usually like starting out. You know, because our listeners don't necessarily, or our viewers don't necessarily know exactly where you guys, you know, began. So I like to start off in the beginning. So tell me a little bit about, you know, your beginnings, where you guys are from. I mean, I personally know, but they need to know. Tell me where you're from and how you guys got together as a group. You know, and talk to us about your beginnings and how that.
Hey, go ahead, Daddy-O.
Yeah, hit that, Daddy-O. You start that first.
Mostly from Brooklyn, you know, but you know, the light from Foch Boulevard and Prince Paul from Amityville.
Mm-hmm.
You know, early Rakimisms. But me and Delight decided sometime in the 80s that we wanted to put together a group, that we wanted to do a rap group. And you know, we threw it around, and finally we came to the conclusion of the Stetsasonic 3 MCs, and, you know, kind of went through that a little bit. And then we just started doing some cherry picking. We grabbed Wise, he was the human percussionist, grabbed Bobby, he was a drummer, grabbed, probably one of the best DJs in the world, DJ Prince Paul. And we just started adding on. And before we knew it, we were a band, because all these guys had equipment. DBC had equipment, Prince Paul had equipment, Bobby had equipment. So it was like, yo, what's up? And I tell people all the time, people say, oh, you know, you guys are hip hop band, da, da, da. And I love it. I love the fact that it's us, but I always say it wasn't rocket science, right? Back in the day, there was no Serato. So it was very, very difficult to get instrumentals for shows. And, you know, that's why most of the 12 inches back in the day, you'll notice they TV tracks and not instrumentals, because cats had the choruses on there, whatever. And I asked D, I said, Delight, how we going to do this? He said, D, we just take it all on stage.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So we followed Delight's lead. We took it all on stage, and now they on stage with a band. When the fuck was that in their plans?
Right.
You had to throw that in there.
That's right. That's how it goes down, man. Everybody copy you. You know how it goes down, man. Listen to me. You guys are the most diverse rap band / group in the history of hip hop. Let me tell you something. Everybody thought Wise was a beatbox. Remember that? But you guys
now
are
they
dope,
giving
man.
up love.
You guys are dope, bro. so listen to me. I know hip hop has changed over a period of time, right? And you know, you guys, you know, were a hip hop band, and it appears to me as if no one except for maybe the Roots has actually implemented your style and become that kind of group? Like, talk to me about why that is and why hasn't anybody else like stepped in that space to be like you guys, because you guys were dope, bro. Like I can't even understand, like, and it like in my mind, I was always on it. Like, I saw like Stetsasonic, like, at some point when you get older, you look at how rap was to grow. So I always thought in my mind, like, Run DMC, like groups like Public Enemy, like groups like Stetsasonic would play in Vegas, like Neil Diamond. You know what I'm saying? Because you were so diverse that people would be like, okay, 60-year-old rap fan would want to see this kind of music, right?
Yeah. No doubt.
So talk to me a little bit about why you think at this point, like, I mean, I know the concept of groups have like dissipated, right, Daddy-O? So talk to me a little bit about like why you think no one else stepped in that space other than you guys.
Basically saying when you're saying about the Roots, we no disrespect to the Roots, those are our family.
Right.
Those are people, and they actually involved with us in a project that we got coming up in a couple of months. But we, the Roots was never really a hip hop band.
Right,
the Roots, from coming out of Philly, they actually was a R&B funk fusion band.
Right.
They, Thought was just added to the group, and then at the time they added Rizal as a beatbox.
Right,
so they wanted to, kind of balance too, and of course they've gotten that from us too.
Of course,
because when you saw Stetsasonic and you saw Wise as a human mix machine, they was like, okay, we need to incorporate that in it too as well.
Right.
To answer your question, why we think we don't see other people carrying that torch of it, you actually do see them carrying the torch to it. The only problem is that they sugaring it down. And that's why when people see us and when they see us perform, they actually see like, yo, these, like I was just explaining to Delight just a few minutes ago, that when we was in Philly, and one of the guys who actually handled us, who books us in the show, and I told Daddy-O this, I said, yo, he called me and said, yo, I'm really disappointed, man, in the show, because we did a show in Philly.
He's disappointed in the show.
Yeah, no, he did, and at the Del Center, the Lady B event.
Right. Oh, okay, Lady B, respect the Lady B.
Yeah, respect the Lady B. And I was telling Delight, I told Daddy-O, I said, yo, he called me and he said, yeah, I was really disappointed, man, in the show. And I'm like, well, tell us what we have to do to get better.
Right.
But he was disappointed in another group. I ain't gonna say that group. I ain't gonna say that group's name. Right. I told you I ain't coming to start no trouble.
One of the other groups. But anyway. What you say? I said, I think it was, he was disappointed with more than one of the acts. But,
Right. but I think it's because of the fact that no one has. We raised the bar. Like, if you're gonna do this,
right.
If you're gonna challenge us, take it to the next step. And we every time we do it, we always take it to the next step.
Right.
And we see everybody doing it, but no one get close to how we done it. And we don't lip sync our shows anyway. There's never a backing track.
Well, we don't want to do that anyway. If you're a pure artist, you don't need to do that.
I ask something? Can I ask?
The floor is yours.
With us, we're actually a family act going on the road. You know what I'm saying? That there's no hirees and stuff. There's nobody hired. We're actually, a hip hop band. We're a family and stuff. It's not like any other group that goes out that brings a hired band. You have a hired drummer. You know what I'm saying? Bobby is a part of our act. He interacts with the audience and stuff as well. You know what I'm saying? Bobby picks up the mic along with playing the drums. He picks up the mic and stuff. He interacts with the crowd. Whereas all these other groups that have bands, you know what I'm saying? You don't see their drummer picking up a microphone, getting off the drum set, the stand and stuff like that, start talking to the crowd. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes us different.
Right, because you guys are actually a group. You're not a high.
Man, don't go to group. You get a body slam.
But you're wise to your point. That's real right there, because that's what makes you guys who you are. That's what makes you guys special. You know what I mean? Because you could easily hire a band like you can do that all day. You know what I mean? But that's not what this is. This is something totally different. This is why I asked that question.
Right.
Because I don't understand, and not to necessarily compare you, Bobby, to the Roots. But I don't have too many. How many comparisons do I actually have?
That was a good point that you made. I was just only trying to set it up by just letting because we say this in all our interviews, is that we're not putting the Roots down. We love the Roots,
right.
And like I said, they're involved in some stuff that we got coming up too.
Right.
Quest Love, shout out to Quest, but we're just explaining the kind of band that they were. You know, prior in 1990, they weren't a hip hop band.
Right.
We were still the hip hop band.
Of course.
In we were a hip hop band from '85 straight to now. So and Delight has pinned that title. You know what I'm saying? So we carry that with us everywhere.
And speaking a little bit of a controversy, I love it because you guys actually been doing this from the beginning. You guys been receiving controversy and also giving it. A perfect example with that is the video of All That Jazz.
Most definitely.
Let's just unpack that for a second. From running up on the news reporters, shooting out your rights, like what was that about?
Yeah, you know, first of all, Talking All That Jazz was pretty much like the first time that you had hip hop and jazz pretty much being, you know, actually coming center stage for a song at that particular time. And the point is that there was information that was passed out or given out by M2A, you know what I'm saying? And we decided to approach it and let people know about our music and what we're about when it comes down to this, to hip hop in general. You know, we do sampling, but we also give sampling is the best, what they call the best way for flattery or whatever the case may be. But it lets people know about our music as a people in general. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you didn't know about I Got Soul, you know, you probably wouldn't know James Brown. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line, we try to keep the spirit of our music, whether it be from jazz, blues, and whatever other R&B, whatever the case may be.
Right.
You know, because this is us.
Right.
You know, it's culture.
I think a lot.
You know,
I think what made you guys, unlike any other group of your ilk, I think what made you guys very special. To Wise's point, you were a family, but more importantly, songs, music.
Right.
You know, and Ciara mentioned Talking All That Jazz was a great song. Okay, but my personally, you know, you talk about Sally, you talking about all these songs you guys did. But my favorite song was Ghost Tester 1.
Oh my God.
Period, point blank. Because I came up in the era where, you know, you would hear that at the Latin Quarter, you would hear that at Union Square, you would hear that.
Kid, bro.
I know, right? He was the one taking the chains, D. He was
People tugging in their chains,
like, yeah, I see that chain. Yeah.
That record right there was the dry starter.
That's before my time, sir.
Yo, let me tell you something.
So set the pitch up for that.
I'm going to do that right now. How'd you know?
Lucky you, Ciara. We would have had them earrings. You heard me?
So you hear just to people's point, like Ciara, if you're one of those, right? So here it is. I'm gonna set it up like Bobby asked me to. So you're in the Latin Quarter, you're in a packed club, right? So and you drop the intro of this song was sort of like, look, let's go, you know? Let's go get this money. You know what I'm saying? You know, and the song is amazing. But my point to this whole thing was, I think how you guys had an effect on the hip hop culture at that time was different than what has transpired after you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why, you know, we love and adore your energy. And I think a couple of years ago, I knew I wanted to do this interview 2 years ago, by the way.
Okay.
Because a couple of years ago, you guys performed in Brooklyn.
The Armor.
At the Armor.
Yeah.
And you guys did some of your new material. And I was sitting there like, what in the fuck? Excuse my French. I mean, YouTube bleep that. But I was like, yo, that shit is dope. You know what I mean? I said, they still got dope material. I said, well, you know, when I sat there, I thought to myself, I said, you know, well, hey, you know, they got Daddy-O, they got Bobby, they got Wise, they got Delight, they got... Yeah, of course they're gonna have dope material. So don't be stupid, T Money. You know what I mean? Right. So but I was like, yo, and what made and part of why I do this podcast, right, is because of artists like yourselves. You know, because people now go and they do things and they're not understanding that the artists like you have dope music now. It's not like, you know, I don't have to sit there and celebrate what happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago in regards to your music. You got records that are hot today.
Right.
And the platform is needed.
Right.
To let people know that you have this music, that you have something that you have to offer today. You know,
T, the music, like Ciara said, 50 years down the line,
right?
That's where we at right now.
That is correct.
And the thing about
he was a prophet when he said that. That's facts.
And the thing about it is that culture does not survive unless you have some elders.
Oh, no
It
question.
may start off new, but wherever it starts off new, they become older. You know what I'm saying? But it won't survive if you don't have elders, because they were there at the beginning and they can show you the way. You know what I'm saying? So bottom line, when it comes down to 50 years of hip hop, we're giving people a peek, the younger generation, in a peek into what you can look like when you get 50 years down the line of you being involved in hip hop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we're letting people know what it looks like, what it feels like, what it's all about.
Well, why don't you?
They have their Paul McCartney. They have their,
Rolling Stones. They got the Rolling Stones.
You know what I'm saying? They have those artists.
They got the Elton Johns. They got all these people.
Right. And of course, hip hop will come down to that avenue.
Well, I wanted to ask you this, since you were sharing certain experiences. How was your experience, or can be a group question, on the Self-Destruction song?
Oh, no
Tell
doubt.
me that experience.
That was a cold day, D. Go ahead.
Well, again, to Delight's point, some of this stuff that we've been doing since the beginning. So, Stetsasonic has always been, Delight used to tell us, yo, let's make music for the mind, body, and soul. And I used to say, what you mean, D? He says, we got to do, mind records. We got to do conscious records. We got to make sure that people are thinking. We got to make sure that they know in truth, at least, truth that we know. But we got to do records that's for the body, because, we're doing Latin Quarter. We're doing all of this. So, people got to dance as well. But then you also got to do records for soul, which is, what you feel when you listening to soul music or some great, classic rock or whatever. It's got to feel good. So we always was about that. Remember, the first video that Stetsasonic ever had was Africa.
That's right. That's right.
The first time you ever seen us in a music video, it was Africa. So we was already on that, what people would call conscious tip. I think it's more than conscious, right? I think conscious is small. It's a little bigger than that. But being involved with Self-Destruction was great because, like it was heralded at that particular time, it was the hip hop version of We Are the World.
And Mr. Daddy-O, this question is particularly for you in itself. And then I'll ask the other members their own question.
She called you Mr. Daddy-O. Mr. Daddy-O.
Mr.
Daddy-O. Respect. Don't spoil me. All I get is spoiled. Sorry. But Mr. Daddy-O, quick question. Is there a record that you produced that the world might not know you helped with?
It's a bunch. But I think Top Billin' is probably the one at the top. But there's a bunch of records.
And we had Milk D on the show, too. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. So Top Billin' is probably one. But, there's a ton of records that, I feel very responsible for the emergence of Big and Mary, because it was my Real Love remix that made that happen. And shout out to Mark. Mark is my dude. Oh yeah, earlier from what y'all was saying earlier, R.I.P. Tame One, because I heard y'all mention the Artifact.
That's right, the Artifact.
Shout out R.I.P. K. Slay, Rolling 200 Deep, that dropped yesterday. He got one of the last verses from Tame One on there, so that was dope. But yeah, I think that I feel responsible for that, because when the regular Real Love came out, it was cool. You Remind Me was the one that really kind of got us into Mary. But when my Real Love remix, even now, you be in a club and you hear my quank, 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 and it go crazy. So yeah, it's a bunch of records I made. That's a whole nother show.
Well, that's a lot. That's a lot to take in. Because you guys, I kind of equate you guys to other groups too, because to be honest with you, like your diversity stems from the fact that as groups, like when you have groups, most of the time, there's always one person that comes out of the group that does well. Very seldom do you have an array of people that do other things that that are monumental outside the original group. Like like you had spoke, Daddy-O, about the stuff that you did. I mean you produced Shantae Moore, you produced Jeffrey Osborne and Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, you did stuff for Latifah. I mean, and you just mentioned Audio 2 and Mary J. And Bobby, now he's on iHeartRadio and he's, he had his video show for quite some time.
Yo, but that's me on the drums on Red Hot Chili Peppers, man. I'm putting that blast on your show right now. people be thinking that's my man. That's not him. That's me on the drums.
Okay, well there you go. See, look man. Hey,
Flea really loved what Bobby was doing on those drums. Shout out.
This is why we're here to have this conversation.
Yeah,
Well,
and you can't forget.
Hold on, pause for 2 seconds. Well, Mr. Bobby, since you coming all strong with it, tell the people how was your experience with Tracy Morgan? You around here stand-up comedian,
How about
sir.
that?
Wow, that's crazy. Well, actually,
Out here telling jokes.
Why you blowing me up like that? I'll be putting that in the back burner. Well, actually, me and Tracy came up together. We talking about early 1990. We used to do the Uptown Comedy Club.
Tracy Morgan's my guy, man.
Yeah,
Salute
up
to
in
Tracy.
it was actually me, Tracy Morgan, Donnell Rawlins,
That's right.
and Crazy Sam.
Crazy Sam.
It was us, and we used to do the Uptown Comedy Club. Now me, I used to host the show. I can't do a 15-minute or 20-minute set like the way they do it. So I said, yo, let me just host it. And that's how my show came about when I did my Flavor Video show. I said, I'd just rather do a video show than try to do a stand-up, because I can't do a 15-minute stand-up comedy. That's hard. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but we all came up in the ranks. And then I started booking comedy shows. I booked Tracy for shows. And which cam I'm watching? Because I want to talk to Tracy real quick. Which one?
Right.
What up, Tracy? Yo, Tracy, don't when you do your shows, you better tell people I paid you, because you know I paid you. Always come with the money. But yeah, but I used to do that back in the days, but I couldn't do comedy. I couldn't do stand up. That's too hard. That's too hard.
Understandably. So, quick question, fellas. What was your individual experience on tour or while on tour? What was your best moment? Maybe your worst? Share one of the experiences with us.
That's too many to
give me one now, real quick.
I can just say two real quick. The one for me, one was Africa. When we went to South Africa, we performed. We was in Senegal, right? We was in Senegal,
right?
And we did a big concert out there with Bobby McFerrin, Patti LaBelle. Oh, so many people was on. I think George Michael. A lot of people was on that bill at the time, and I think that was one for me, because when we was on stage, all we saw was like a sea of people. It was like literally 80,000 people, and we saw like a
100,000.
sea of Yeah, probably more than that, right?
Right.
And we just saw like and this is documented, if you can find the video to it, because it's on.
I'm gonna look for it.
And it's just a sea of people, and we looking out there like, yo, this is real. Because we saw people like Michael Jackson and them do that, and we just thought like a rap act. You know, the closest we're gonna see is either 18,000 or 20,000. We did this concert, man, and
Is it 80,000 people?
no, it's 100,000, 100,000. So for us, it was exciting. You know, it was like, yo, and then Delight and Daddy was telling them, say Nelson Mandela, and they all screaming Nelson Mandela, because that was the concert to welcome Mandela back home. He had just came home from prison. Okay. So when we did. So for me, that was a big experience for me. And I actually told my mom, I called my mom's actually, that's when we used to use those cards that you use when you go to the phone.
The calling cards, out of area, call 1-800 cards.
I called my mom and said, yo, Ma, I met Nelson Mandela. We just performed in Africa. So it was a big experience for me.
And I'm glad you was able to share it with your mom.
Yeah.
That's incredible. You guys have been all over the place, man. I mean, and you guys have been amazing at that. But talk to me a little about how you feel about today's music. It's Hip Hop 50, and everybody's, doing shows, and, everybody's coming back. But I've heard artists complain about how Hip Hop 50 has been handled. What are your thoughts on Hip Hop 50 and, the celebration of the culture and, hip hop today?
Well, I feel great about it. I mean, it doesn't bother nothing bothers me right now in regards to how many appearances we do or whatever the case may be. I'm just glad to be a part of what we're doing, you know what I'm saying, in regards to celebrating the 50 years of hip hop, because it's monumental, because I remember when we couldn't get an album budget.
Oh, yeah, no question.
We couldn't get an album budget, you know, to even do an album.
Yeah, rap artists were on it like that back in the day. It was hard for us to get money for videos, for everything else, you know.
So you know, when you're there from almost the very outset, and you watch it grow and expand to what it has become now, trust me that there's no feeling like it. So I'm appreciative of anything and everything that we get in this day and time, and so forth and so on. And that's just my opinion, you know, in regards to that.
Well, I mean, he hit it on it. I just think that, you know, if this is what you're asking, for me, I think it was good that people got to see it. We've been a part of most of the Hip Hop 50th anniversary concerts and shows. Right. Some we haven't been a part of. We wanted to be a part of them, but oh well. But what do I think about the new music today is what you're asking me?
Right.
I think some of it is good. You know, people always go after certain artists like Drake and all them, and I do like some of Drake's stuff. I'm okay with Drake's work. I just, what I see now is I see a shift happening. And the shift that's happening is that a lot of the conditioned old school artists who really know how to put on them shows like LL Cool J or like a Redman and Method Man or even a group like us, I think the ticket buyers are starting to see that this is more worth than going to see No Disrespect, Please Do Not Hit Me Up, the Baby. I just want to make sure, because I know they watching everything. What's Sean saying? I'm not saying what I'm just calling the numbers and what they seeing in ticket sales. Right. And people seeing that most of the new artists, a lot of the ticket sales are going down, but you can go see Redman, Method Man, Dougie Fresh, Rakim, LL Cool J, Run DMC on a bill at a good price.
Now, real talk, for the first time in history, as a result of Hip Hop 50, hip hop old school artists are generating more money in ticket sales than the new school artists, because they're going through so many problems, right?
Right.
So it's amazing to me how this works. You know what I mean? Hip hop is 360, and you know, and I also want to talk to you about the diversity of your group.
Okay.
And I think I aired to it earlier when we were talking in regards to how you guys individually are successful, and you're now doing iHeartRadio.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I like about Stetsasonic, and you're right, that we are diverse. Right. You know, I always say this all the time. Like, even with our album,
you do iHeartRadio. I mean, Prince Paul is Prince Paul. I mean, come on, we got to go over his whole resume.
Well, yeah, we talking about De La Soul, Third Base, Gasface,
that's right,
Big Daddy Kane.
That's right, the Grave Diggers. We can go back to the
Grave Diggers. Right. Actually, what people don't know is that most of those projects, me and Prince Paul worked on projects together too. We did the band Living Color. Oh, right. We did the song Funny Vibe. Right. Also, you spoke about Daddy-O. Me and Daddy-O did Red Hot Chili Peppers B-52s.
No question.
We did that together. I wound up producing Shabba Ranks. I actually did the song with KRS-One. Oh, cool. Shabba Ranks and KRS-One, and I also got to work with Tony Terry. Okay. I did That Kind of Guy with Tony Terry. Right. So I got the thing about us was that what makes us diverse and what makes Stetsasonic sound different is that we all have a different genre style of music that we like, and we put it in that pot. We talked about talking on like jazz earlier. What people don't know is that's literally Delight's idea. Talking on like jazz, of doing that song. It was actually produced by Delight. So we, because he's a big fan of jazz. I mean, we all are. Right. But it was the idea from saying let's combine this with that now. So everybody that has but of course, real quick, let me say this. But of course, all the fans out there who are Stet fans, y'all know Prince Paul is our guy, because Prince Paul pulled a lot of stuff out. Right. That and we was listening to that De La Soul, and we're on that album. I'm on that album we was listening to that De La Soul album before it came out when we was on the Run's House tour.
Right.
The summer of '88.
Oh yeah, I remember the Run's House. I was out there a couple of days. Me and Dre were out there.
Yeah.
I still got my ID badge.
Yeah, that's right. Y'all was. Yeah. We did that tour. So in the process of doing that tour, we were in the studio working on other stuff, and that was one of the albums. And we would listen to that album on the tour bus. You know, every time we get on the bus. So we kind of knew what the album was going to do. We didn't know it was going to be that big.
Right.
But that's the kind of person Paul is. He was a different kind of guy.
Well, my point is this: Stetsasonic should be heralded as one of the greatest rap groups / bands of all time. And
But why do you think people won't say that about us? Now that you mentioned, now I'm asking you so you can answer. Why do you think people you don't hear? Let me rephrase that. Why do you think you don't hear people?
I think it's based on ignorance. I think it's based on ignorance.
Okay.
I'm not saying, and keep in mind, because people take ignorance like it was disrespectful.
Right.
But it's just the fact that they don't know. They don't really understand. And that's just why I have the show. 'Cause I'm trying to make them see that this right here has validity, is worthy of praise and respect when it comes to the culture, because to actually have a group like yours, that I compare you to the Roots, or actually vice versa, because we're comparing the Roots to you. I do that because, first of all, there's only one comparison. Secondly, right, to actually be you guys, if I had to sit there today and say, okay, I want to be like Stetsasonic. First of all, I want to have, a guy that does the beatbox, right? I want to have a formulated band where I have a dynamic drummer. I want to have great rappers. People don't do that anymore.
Right.
That doesn't even exist.
You don't even see groups no more.
Groups don't exist.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
It's all about the one particular person, right? So understand that in itself is if you were able to do that, that would be a huge accomplishment.
Right.
So what you guys have done is unbelievable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it needs celebration. It needs to be praised, and it needs to, and the people of this genre and genres beyond it should understand and respect it.
Well, can I share something with you since you mentioned that, and we hope that people do. We always said, if people know, they know. If they don't know, hopefully they get educated.
Right.
But what I will share with you is that hopefully everybody will celebrate with us, because we have a TV one Unsung coming out in March.
Did you shoot it already?
Yeah, we shot it already.
That's
we shot it. Everything. Ice-T is on it. Chuck D is on it.
You guys didn't call me. I don't understand what happened.
We tried to grab everybody. I know I was making phone calls to everybody because we wanted it to be different than everybody else's Unsung. We wanted to call the people who literally was there with us. And as soon as I called IC was like about time. So that's what we wanted to hear.
That's dope.
We wanted to hear people say, wow, so they doing something on y'all about time, because he's another guy that we work with. We work with the Rhyme Syndicate, me and Danny.
Of course.
And they toured with us. They were on that tour with us, on that Public Enemy Bring the Noise tour. So we spent time with Ice-T. So he was like, yo, I know more about Stet than anybody. And he also was in the Latin quarters watching people getting their chains
snatched. Right. I was there, kid. I'm telling you. I used to go to Latin quarters every Friday. I was there, son.
Yes.
Knock it off. But yeah man, that's what's up. So listen, I wanted to say thank you guys for being here today.
We thank you, man.
Where could they? I know you guys are doing a new album,
right?
You guys have the Unsung coming out,
right?
Well, so tell everybody where else they can find you, please. And
okay, well, we can let people know that we have the new album, which is coming out actually in a couple of months. So it's called Here We Go Again, which was again titled by Delight. It's one of the titles of the song on the album that's produced by Delight. It's a great album, man. Right now we got a single out called Handle, so please show your love and support on that. But you can find Stetsasonic at The Real Stetsasonic on Instagram. So it's at The Real Stetsasonic on Instagram. And if you want to check out the music, you can go to Stetsasonic.com, where you could probably get the songs and stuff like that. And also they could probably purchase hoodies and them over there too at Stetsasonic.com.
They will be posting it because we're in the middle of revamping our website so that we can put the merch and and a lot of our other music that's on there.
Well, listen, all I know is I need a Stet hoodie. I need that.
We got you, man.
I need that in life, bro.
You heard him said it already. Right,
facts.
Delight?
That's facts. That's
Right,
facts.
Delight?
That's facts.
Yeah, I
I need a
get the
Stet
size.
hoodie.
I'm putting him on blast. Right,
I
Delight?
need an extra large right now, son. It's not a game.
There you go.
Yo, listen, man. Thank you guys for being here. Yo,
We appreciate you,
You are
man.
watching the T Money podcast. Join T Money in the building. Ciara Ross,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Stetsasonic. If you can't say it all,
Just say Stet.
that's right, baby. Thank you.
Peace.
T Money Podcast. Join the